Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Let's Talk Biz. It's been like a week, so it's kind of weird. I'm excited to be back though. Today we have Miss Sayuri, who's going to be joining me on live today. We're going to be talking about a bunch of different things. I'm really excited to talk with her. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on, and we're going to get right to it. So let me go ahead and jump on in here. She is in the conversation as it loads up. Boop, 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 boop. Let's see. I think it's connecting. It's just disconnecting. There she is. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. So good to see you.
I know, girl. It's been like such a long time. It's been such a long time. How's everything?
Well, I don't know if you knew this, but I'm 7 months pregnant. So
you're 7 months? I knew you were pregnant, but I didn't know you were 7 months. Oh my God, you're so close.
Yes. So yesterday was my last day of the second trimester. So
congratulations.
You have to celebrate every milestone.
Correct, because now it's about to get hard. I'm not even gonna lie.
So
now is when it's really gonna get down to it, where it's like the weight is gonna hit on you and all that stuff, but then don't worry, that means you're like closer and closer away. Hello everybody for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. Cool. So a little backstory. So I've actually known Sayuri since I was like younger. Like I think like 14 years old. I met her on a church retreat, and she was my counselor, like in our cabin thing.
Do you remember that?
It was so long ago. But yeah, and so ever since then we've kind of just been like, stayed connected, following each other on social media, and here we are years later. You have your own businesses that are so beautiful and successful, and I'm over here doing this whole mompreneur coaching thing, and so I'm really excited to get back and talk a little bit about some stuff.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Let's do it. All right, cool. So I want you, first off, of course, for those of you who don't know, I'm Alexis. This is Sayuri. And so just share a little bit about yourself, a little bit about, your background, where you're from.
So my name is Sayuri, and I am the Chief Moments Creator and founder of You and Me Time. And I started the company when I was a sophomore in college. The journey has evolved in so many different ways, but that's the fun part about it. It's like, You just have to start. And basically what I do is that I take the guesswork and the legwork out of planning date nights and special events for couples and families, and I bring back magic and meaning into moments. So I'm very passionate about it. I started when I was not even married. I hadn't even met my husband now, but marriage has definitely given my business so much more foundation and meaning, because it's like now I get to see how much more of a need there is for us couples to continue to nourish our relationships. I come from a broken home. My parents divorced when I was 8. Mm-hmm. And one of the first things that my dad said to me was, he sat with my sister and I, and he's like, girls, relationships are like flowers, and if we don't water them, eventually they'll die. And in my 8-year-old mind, I'm just like, okay, so I mean, like, that's how he broke the news to me, that he and my mom were getting a divorce. Yeah. And in my 8-year-old mind, I'm just like, okay, so if relationships are like flowers, why don't you just take a bucket of water and just water your relationship? Like, what's the big deal? And it's funny because I've been seeing you become like more of like a plant taker,
a little planter.
No, but like actually you have plants in your house. Like
yes, I just started. I used to plants would die in my house all the time. So quarantine changed me. Quarantine changed me.
So you get to kind of like realize how relationships are, they require so much more than just water, right? It's not like that simple. And now I'm like, oh, now I get it. You need to like know what kind of flower you're dealing with to know how much care, what specific care it needs. And so that's what makes it so much fun. And you asked me where my background, so I'm Dominican.
Yes.
But from the divorce, the actual divorce led to us moving like so many times. I actually counted it for fun one day, and I was like, by the time that I was 18, my sister and we had moved 17 times. So when people ask me where
I'm from, way.
Yeah, when people ask me where I'm from, I'm like, it's kind of hard for me to say because
I live everywhere.
I lived in DR, and then I moved to the Bronx, New York. and then I moved to Florida. So a little bit of
Yeah.
everything.
Okay. Oh my God. No, that's seriously. Well, first of all, Dominican over here, even though I wish I spoke Spanish, but I know we relate on that. But that's honestly, so what? So then, okay, you said you started You and Me Time in college as a sophomore. What led you, like, what sparked in your mind, or what was your inspiration for actually like starting, the business, You and Me Time?
So I've always known that I wanted to start a business. That's the only thing that I felt like in my heart, like that I was called to do, but
Yeah.
I didn't know what kind of business to start. And
Mm-hmm.
I went up to one of my college professors, and he basically told me, he's like, if you think about your life story, think about a painful experience that you have gone through in your life,
Yeah.
and ask yourself, like, are there other people experiencing that type of pain, and can you come up with a solution for that? So it was very like,
Mm-hmm.
that was, I'm like, something that you don't really expect. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
That's
this is like
weird.
a
Most people
therapy
are
session.
not going that route. Like, they don't
Right.
ask you to dig that deep.
Right. So I'm just like, okay. So I remember I went home and I went to, lock myself in my room, and I played this song from Carrie Job, The More I Seek You, the
Love
More I
her.
Find You.
Yeah.
And at that moment, like, God just started kind of like showing me different flashbacks of moments that I had experienced in my life,
Yeah.
moments with my dad, moments with my sister, moments with my mom. And I'm just like, well, like, this moments happened like years ago, and I couldn't really like remember an
Mm-hmm.
actual moment that I had experienced with either one of them. Like, and I lived with my
Mm-hmm.
mom and my sister, and even though we lived under the same roof, like, I feel like
Yeah.
we hadn't really experienced those type of moments.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, okay, so the truth is that when I was experiencing those moments, I didn't realize that those were going to be the most memorable moments for me.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about life, that when we're going through our lives, we're not really pausing to say, oh, like right now I'm actually experiencing a magical moment with my husband or with my kids.
Yeah.
It's like after the fact that we go back and we
Correct.
say, wow, like that moment mattered. And
Mm-hmm.
so my approach was very simple. Like, I just want to help couples, families, like, stay connected. And I don't want to go to them with more information, because I believe that we don't really need like more information. Like, there's
Correct.
all these
Correct.
books written out there.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is that we just need simple, convenient ways to connect. And if I can
Correct.
help people do that,
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like
Definitely.
that will definitely make an impact in their relationship. So that's basically how I started. I had to
Wow.
do a business plan, and for one of my college assignments,
Okay.
and You and Me Time became like the origin of that. So it was my business plan.
Oh,
Then
wow.
I told all my professors, I got them all involved. Like, okay, if I'm gonna have finance, okay, I want you to teach me. Like, I want your program to be like tailored to what I'm supposed to
Exactly.
be
Make it
doing.
applicable to this so I don't have to do this twice.
Right. If it's marketing, like, let's do this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just kind of like I
Connecting. Oh, I think it reconnected. There it goes.
oh, yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, go ahead. Are we good? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
It froze for like a little bit, but then
Yeah, yeah, I know. I was like, oh wait. Good.
yeah. And so then after the idea came, then I was like, God was such a big part of it, because I prayed to him and I said, like, Lord, like, this is what I want to do, but I have no idea where to start.
Yeah.
And I felt, I believe that even the Bible is very clear that plans fail for lack of wisdom. And so um, I basically just prayed and I asked him, like, who is a mentor in my life that could be someone that can guide me?
Yeah.
And Pastor Jay was one of those people in my life that I would meet with him like once a week.
Yeah.
And we would like talk about like, okay, do this and do that. And then I don't know if you knew, but the actual founder of Chick-fil-A, he became my business mentor, where I wrote him.
Oh, yes. I remember you posting about that. I remember you sharing about that. I was like, that is sick. That is sick, because he's amazing. Like, Chick-fil-A obviously is like the biggest success ever. In my opinion, I love Chick-fil-A, so whatever.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
I just his name popped in my mind, and I had just moved from New York, so there was no Chick-fil-A in New York.
Yeah.
And so I Googled his name, and it said like founder of Chick-fil-A. He was passionate about mentoring the youth. And so the next day, because it was Sunday, so Chick-fil-A closed on Sunday, I called corporate, and then they asked me who I was, and I told them that I was Sayuri, that I wanted to talk to Truett Kathy, and they were trying to figure out like who are you? Like,
yeah,
are
like
you
should we let you talk to him?
But through that, all of that, it just showed me how sometimes you just have to do it. You know, people overthink it. People ask me like, "Oh, how do you meet him? How do you?" I'm like, I just called. You know, it's not really the most important, like pivotal things in life. Sometimes they're not that complicated, but we like to complicate it.
Correct. We overcomplicate it. Hi, Lydia. No, for sure. And I think that the fact that you were so bold is what made all the difference, like in your career. Because I feel like a lot of times, especially as an entrepreneur, the journey itself can be so scary because there's so much room for error. And it's like most of the time we're used to just like the same thing all the time. You just show up, you do your work, you're done. And with entrepreneurship, it's not like that.
Right.
It's like the completely opposite road. So I think that that's like amazing that you were like, you know what? Let's go, owner of Chick-fil-A. Like, let's talk right now because I need your mentorship. So how did that expand? Like, what else did you learn from him? Like, that's amazing.
Well, I think that the experience itself meant a lot to me because I felt at that moment, a lot of people didn't really understand what You and Me Time was going to be.
Yeah.
They didn't really understand the concept. But it was more like sometimes I believe that there's power when you don't know what you don't know. You know, sometimes we think that the more we know, the better it is.
Yeah.
But sometimes the more we know, that can actually hinder our process because then we start to think, okay, before I step into action, I have to do this, this, and that. And like literally all I did is I called, wrote him a letter, sent it. At that time, I didn't even know that I was supposed to like have a copywriter or have someone edit it or just make it complicated. So I think that the whole experience in itself, like I keep going back to that 18-year-old Sayuri that didn't know what I know now. And it's like, how can I keep things simple and just kind of like have that childlike heart? So that meant a lot. But Truett Kathy was a believer. I don't know if you know, but he passed away years ago. And like, no goal is too high for me. He would always say, no goal, it will be too high for you if you climb with care and confidence. So that's important because you have to, the journey, it's long. You know, there's people that I have met that knew me when I was 18 and they know me now and they're like, wow, you're still doing that? And I'm just like, yeah. like, you know, and it's like, what are you expecting? And he said, no, because most people, they, you know, you meet them and they're like bouncing around from one thing to the next and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, wow, you must be really very passionate about this. Like, it's almost like they're not expecting for you to just stick it out. Correct. And so I think that you just have to do it and then be consistent with the process and trust that the process is gonna, like, eventually you will get there, right? Definitely. And so I feel like that was one of the things that I learned from the whole experience. Obviously, I worked with Chick-fil-A. I was their marketing consultant for a few of the locations here in South Florida. So I got to really understand Chick-fil-A's marketing approach and how they run their business. So like there's so many things that I learned, but as a whole, I think that it was if I can just kind of like summarize what I have learned, it's that like no goal will be too high for you if you climb with care and confidence. And that's confidence in yourself more than anything, because it is a lonely journey. And we live in a times where sometimes with social media we feel like, you know, we start comparing ourselves, or there's a lot of things that people may not necessarily see. Like, I know that you are launching your business, you develop your course, like you're doing all these things. People would only get to see a little bit of it. Correct. Of all the back behind work. They don't get to see all of it. And you kind of have to just trust, like, hey, this is going to happen. There's no overnight story. Like, you're building your overnight story. And people will probably get to see it like 10 years from now. Who knows? You know, and you just have to trust in yourself and the process. So. Oh, no, that's so true. Hi, Mary. Like, I heard you like sister support, and I see you, sis. I see you, girl. Hello. What I want to know is,
obviously, like, being that you've been like working with couples, working with families, like, what are some of the obstacles that they may have shared with you that kind of like prohibits them from actually having like that quality time together? Like, what's some of the issues that come up and you're like, what's that? What do you see as consistent with that?
It's interesting that you say that, because one of the things that I'm seeing a lot is actually household responsibilities. And because obviously, a lot of the women were entering or have entered the workforce.
Yeah.
And men have actually, like, they're still working, but they have not been able to adapt to what that means. So we're taking on the role of providing or working as many hours, sometimes even more than men. But we're still having to have the expectation of keeping up the house and taking care of the kids and being a wife and what that means, right?
Yeah.
Whereas men, not in a lot of households, they haven't learned or haven't been able to take on the role of what it means to have responsibilities in the house. Sometimes it happens that the woman doesn't want to take the time to coach the men and teach the men how to do things around the house. So for example, like you will see a woman that would say, oh, my husband doesn't want to help me do the dishes or doesn't want to help me make breakfast. But when the husband may say, oh, honey, I know that you're running late. Do you want me to make you oatmeal? And then she's thinking to herself, well, my husband doesn't really know how to make oatmeal the right way, how I like it.
Oh my God, it's so true.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And so it's just like, don't worry. We know that we need the help.
Yes.
But we don't say, yeah, honey, please, I appreciate it. So
then the benefit of the doubt.
Or, actually take the time to say, you know what? Let's lay it all out.
Yeah.
Let's actually have an action plan. And this week, I'm actually going to coach my husband and teach him how to make my oatmeal, how I like to make the oatmeal or the eggs or things like that. Yeah. So I think that like little things like that make a huge difference because we need the help. And so we need to kind of come to the point to where, men are not necessarily wired the same way that we are wired. And they play by points. So even if let's say he tries to make your oatmeal and the first time he doesn't get it the right way. You have to appreciate him and say, oh, honey, thank you. Thank you for doing it. And this may sound like really I have to show him, I have to celebrate the fact that he tried to make oatmeal.
But it's true. It matters. It matters.
Yes. It's like why do you think that men love to play video games? Because they know if I play this game, it's challenging, but at the end of the day, I'm going to win points.
Yeah, that's so true. So you kind of those little drops of encouragement matter. They do encourage. I notice that with my husband all the time. He'll help with the kids. Like, for example, yesterday I went horseback riding with my dad and my brothers, and I came home and the kids hadn't eaten lunch yet. There was toys everywhere. Everything was crazy, but I had to be thank you for watching the kids. I appreciate that you watch the kids so I can go and hang out.
Yes. And now the other thing too is that they need to understand how one thing actually what's at stake if they don't do something. So for example, for them it may just be just making the oatmeal or just doing the dishes. Yeah. But to us it may mean a lot more. Correct. So we as women, we have this an instinct of being gatherers. And what that means is that we're going around our house and everything that, as we're moving through the kitchen, as we're moving through the living room, everything is just yelling at us. The dishes, the trash, the pillows are not flushed the right way.
Literally yelling.
Yes, this is me, And for them, it's they're hunters. So they come home, they're either with the kids or eating or and we just have different instincts and we need to understand that. So when I was able to break it up to my husband and say, hey, when you're doing the dishes, you're not just doing the dishes, you're actually giving me the ability to reduce my mental load. This is actually making me feel better. It's freeing up my mind. And then now I can focus more on work. When he was able to actually see the picture and say, okay, it's not just doing the dishes or it's not just making the bed, but what that means,
Yeah.
he was like, we actually got a breakthrough in our own marriage because
That's
of that.
awesome.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
So I
Wow.
see that a lot.
Yeah, I was
So,
about to say, because I'm just like, because I see like, especially something that little, how that can affect a couple to
mhm,
want to spend quality time together, because it just builds up so much frustration. So
for
it's like when
sure.
you're so frustrated together, the last thing that you're thinking about is
For sure.
how can I go and spend quality time with my husband, or how can I go and spend quality time with my wife, or what can I do to make this moment special for us, especially when you add kids into the mix. Girl,
For sure.
forget about it. You're like trying to find any moment that you
Right.
can, because even when the babies are little, they're waking up in the middle of the night. There's not even like such thing as alone time. So I completely see how
Right.
just those little things like
For sure.
can throw it out the door.
I mean, when I first started, it was like that. It was like, okay, I'm just gonna go set up date nights for couples, create conversation starters, and like they're gonna have like a remarkable time together.
Yeah.
But the more I started working with couples, I realized that before they can actually get to the point to enjoy each other's company, like
Mm-hmm.
there were like layers. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
what's getting in the way for, the wife to be able to engage with her husband and
Yeah.
feel like not like she's there, but she's also there mentally. And if she's
Mm-hmm.
thinking about the dishes and all these different things that she has going on in her mind, she's not going to be able to actually be present with her husband. And
Definitely.
so this actually like brought me to, that's why I am focusing a lot more on the actual collaboration between couples, how they work together, what
Mm-hmm.
roles do they have. And
Mm-hmm.
the dynamic is very fun.
Yeah, yeah,
because
definitely.
you find like in some relationships where the husband may be the one actually having all these expectations around the house,
Mm-hmm.
whereas the wife, maybe she didn't grow up with all the structures, and
Yeah.
now it's all about committing to the process. It's gonna be hard,
Yeah.
but and
Oh
just
my
having
God.
fun together, like making it fun.
Yes, definitely, definitely. I think that as well can get lost in translation, just because life gets so serious, especially
Mhm.
as a married couple, because you're just confronted with so many adulting things that you
Yes.
have to do, the bills, then you have to take
Mhm.
care of the kids, and then if there's an issue or at work or your job or whatever your commitment is, so many things get in the way. I saw that happened in my relationship,
Mhm.
is that I allowed my business to like overtake my quality time, because I feel like I had to keep going. I
Right.
had to keep working. I had to not, I had to keep it going. And then once I realized, I'm like, wait a second, I'm still so young. I should still be having fun.
Yeah.
I should not be taking my life so seriously.
Yeah.
And it did start to make a difference, like within my marriage, because we realized, like, hey, like just because we have kids and we have responsibilities doesn't mean
Yeah.
we can't have fun together. Like, you know
For
what I
sure.
mean?
For
It like
sure.
becomes something that's so prohibiting. Like,
And that's the thing too, like if you let it, it will eat you up. Like that's the
yeah,
thing. And so, like for example, like my husband, he needs to have playtime and fun time in like in our home.
yeah,
So we had to kind of figure out, okay, so fun will always be one of our core values in our household,
mm-hmm,
right? Like for sure. However, in order for me to be able to enjoy that fun and actually give you that,
yeah,
I need to be able to have that. So it's like, it's all about making deals together and figuring out what is it that I need, what is it that he needs. But I believe that like the home should be the domain of the man and the domain of the woman. So
mm-hmm.
like oftentimes you will hear the wife say, oh, I want my husband to be home, but like just stay in this little corner, don't make a mess, don't touch anything. And you can't, you love it. It's true. Sometimes
Yeah,
it can be
yeah.
like that. And it's like, there's been so many couples fighting during this time of quarantine because it's
Correct.
like we're forced to live together and see each
Correct.
other. It's like 24/7. And,
Yeah.
and it's just, we have different expectations. The wife may have the expectation like, okay, great. Like now he has the time to be helping me around the house and do all these projects that, he's
Yeah.
been prolonging for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Whereas for
Yeah.
him, he's thinking, oh, finally I get to rest because I haven't been able to rest in the past 3 years, you know?
No, girl. So we actually have a question. So we have a question saying, how does you and me time bring value to relationships? Which I also actually wanted to tie in your cards. I know that you
Yes.
have like conversation. I don't know what they're called exactly, but they're basically like conversation cards. So explain a little bit about that. How you feel like those cards and the experiences will bring value to relationships.
Yeah, I actually have I have a set of cards here because I find that it's always helpful when people see it.
Yeah.
So you always hear therapists will say, counselors, whatever, about communication, right?
Yeah.
What you find is that oftentimes couples don't even know like what that looks like. Okay, so
Correct.
I'm gonna go on a date night with my husband. Date night for couples means go eat out. Now there's loud music, there's kids crying, there's all these distractions. So how do we actually get to communicate? Oftentimes you will hear that the wife would say, oh, my husband only talks about work, or he's on his phone, or the wife may say, I just don't know what to talk to him about because I honestly don't feel like I respect him and appreciate him. So what the You and Me Time cards do is that give that in a way facilitates that conversation. So where you're not just talking, but you're actually walking away from the moment feeling more connected. So
yeah, I love that.
So it has questions, and I always say, like, it's not a matter of just like going through like all the set of 39 questions at once, but just taking in the moment, putting life on pause, putting away the technology, and then just allowing yourself to like to be,
Yes.
where you don't have to be thinking of, okay, so
what can I ask now?
Yeah, like it's one of those things where we don't even know how to do that anymore.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You have questions that have been specifically tailored to have crucial, difficult conversations, some more lighter conversations, but definitely kind of takes off the whole guesswork of what do I talk to my husband or my wife about. And these are cards that you can have not just with your partner, you can actually have it with kids, with friends, with your whole family. So
yes. No, and that brings a lot of value because it allows you to go onto a deeper level of relationship and understanding with your partner that again often gets forgotten about because of the craziness and busyness of life. And so I think that's beautiful. I think like that was such an amazing, smart idea. I bet during quarantine a lot of people need to go buy those because we're still going to stay back into our house with all this craziness, pandemic numbers running. So everybody's definitely got to check those out. Like I'm about to check those out.
And the fun fact that when I first created these, I actually thought that the women were gonna be the ones like wanting this and like, forcing them upon their husbands. And like to be honest, like men have been the ones like wanting this the most. Like
that's amazing.
My wife has been talking to me about communication. Like, let's just can I just get those cards?
I need help, Sayuri.
So it helps them win,
Yes, so, of course. Oh my god. So last question, because we do have to wrap up, but oh my god. So last question. If you were to give any tip, 1 tip, 2 tip, 3 tips, whatever it is, what would you say to any upcoming female entrepreneur who wants to like get started? Like what is like your main advice for them?
I would say to get very clear about what it is that you want to do. Like, because there's so many options. There's a lot of shiny objects on the internet. All these different ways that we can go about it, And whatever way you choose is going to take time. It's going to take resources. It's going to take focus. So just get very clear, question yourself, and then be willing to invest in yourself, be willing to put in the effort. Like, it's not going to be easy, but I would say that. And then I always say, like, just learning how to manage your time is key, because once you get clear about what you want to do, you're going to realize that that's going to take a lot more time than what you actually anticipated. And you're going to have to say no to a lot of things. But if you already have clarity as far as like what you're saying yes to, like, okay, I'm going to say yes to creating my own course, creating my own membership program. I'm going to say yes to that. Then it's going to be a lot easier for you to say no to distractions.
Correct.
And like, I have gadgets like this that help me to stay focused, because
cool.
I give myself times for things. So I plan I plan my week, I plan my days, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to take an hour to do this task. It's laser focus, and then that. And then I get to reward and celebrate myself, because you will find that you can be like, your to-do list will never end.
Correct.
Right? But you can say, okay, this day I did 3 big things. And so I can go now and celebrate. So giving yourself those little wins will help you, will motivate you for sure.
Definitely. No, I love that. And you know what? That is super key. That's actually why, because one thing that I was realizing when I was doing my market research for like a lot of the moms that I was talking to for my mompreneur coaching was time management was the most difficult thing for them to get down, because it is so hard, especially now you're about to see, girl, when you have that baby, it's gonna change everything. And so I had created like a little, actually an ebook where I went through this whole like time management method to help, because it is so hard. It is so difficult. Things, you are pulled in so many directions, but to be able to be consistent,
Yes,
you're
for
right.
sure.
You have to be clear on your purpose and then continue on with being better on your time.
For sure.
No, and I love that. But honestly, Sayuri, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that you joined me on here. You took time to be with me and hang out for a little bit. We definitely got to meet up once this quarantine thing is done.
Yes.
We got to hang out because you're pregnant. I'm not trying to miss nothing, but I'm so happy for you. And it's been so awesome to like see your journey. So thank you so much for coming. And thank you everybody for watching, everyone who's on right now and everyone who's going to watch. But yeah, guys, make sure to check her out. I'm going to tag her page and everything so you guys can see and check out her cards and her whole program. But until next time, so I'll see you all later. Bye, guys. Have a great day.